Now see how we pass an array to methods as a parameter. So let's look at an example method which is called print array, which takes in an input parameter of integer array. An integer array. Inside the array, it actually prints element by element and it does not return anything. So when we invoke this method, that means when we want to call this method, let's say we have this array named list of 6 integer items. If we want to call the print array method with this array, we simply need to write like this: print array and the name of the array. So when we write this list basically contains the address to this array. So this address will be passed through here and into the array. So there's another way to do this is print array, then inside the parenthesis we directly create the array and pass it. So this type of array declaration is called anonymous array. This is called anonymous because if you look at it carefully, we are not storing the address of this array anywhere. We are creating this array and we are directly throwing the address into the print array one time. That address is not stored anywhere else. This is known as anonymous array. So since there is no explicit reference variable for the array, such array is called an anonymous array. So we have seen pass by value. So Java uses pass by value to pass arguments to a method. So if the argument is a primitive type data, that means integer, double, character or boolean, then the actual value is passed. But for an array, which is a reference type, the value of the parameter contains a reference, that means an address, and that address will be passed to the method. Let's look at this example. So in our class test, we have the main method and we have another method named m. So the m method takes in two inputs. One is an integer and one is an array of integers. Inside the m method, the integer number is assigned the value 1001 and the first value, that means the 0th position, is assigned the value 5555. So now from the main method we have two variables, one is int x equal 1, another is int y equal new int 10. That means we are creating an array of 10 integers and assigning the address into y. So when we call this m method passing this x and y, so what happens is from x the value 1 actually passes through here to number, and from y basically the address is passed. So the address, the location of this array is passed through numbers. Okay, so what happens is when we change the contents of number here, it has no effect on x because the value of x was copied and passed here. So when we change number, the original x remain unchanged. So when we want to print x, the output becomes x is 1. But here we are actually passing the address of y. So address of y comes here in numbers. So when we do this, numbers 0 equal 5555. So numbers, that means it follows the same address as y, and in that address it changes the 0th content into 5555. So when we print y0 is, it actually prints the changed value, that means 5555. This is similar to the pointer example from C.